Furious Driving, proud to be supported by Diamond Bright, protecting, cleaning and caring for the Furious fleet and for yours with 10% off using code FD10. Follow the links in the description below. Hello and welcome to Furious Driving. And you know what? I think it's fair to say that I am a bit of a Swiftie. No, not Taylor. She's quite good, and I imagine if she keeps at it, she'll probably do quite well. She might go quite far, that girl. But no, I'm talking Suzuki, because I have been a big fan of the Suzuki Swift range for, well, I don't know, a long time actually, certainly since the Mark 3, 4 of around 2010. I've thought they were absolutely fantastic. And since April of this year, there's been a new one on sale here in the UK. And it's quite an exciting new car. It's also potentially the last Swift before they go fully electric. So let's take a look around this, the greatest, perhaps, Suzuki Swift. And don't forget, if you like reviews of interesting, unusual, new and old cars, then don't forget to hit like and, of course, subscribe before we go any further. Now, let's get cracking on. Now, something people complain about constantly, and rightly so in many cases, is the fact that cars are just getting fat and heavy. Well, this one isn't. This is apparently the same size as the old one. It's still 3.8 metres long, 1.7 metres wide, and incredibly, despite being a mild hybrid, it only weighs 949 kilos, so it is really, really light. To put that in some kind of context, the original MX-5 weighed about 800 kilos. So, considering it's a 5-door tin top with a hybrid system and tons of safety gear, that's actually pretty good as it goes. So yeah, impressive stuff from Suzuki just there. Incidentally, that hybrid system, you might be thinking that's going to add a ton of weight. You'd be wrong. 7 kilograms for a mild hybrid system, including the motor and the battery, which is just phenomenal. While we're talking about that, I might as well just carry on and let you know that the mild hybrid system uses what's called an ISG, an integrated starter generator. So it's a belt drive starter motor, which is also the alternator effectively. But when you need that extra little bit of oomph, it'll throw in an extra 2.3 kilowatts and 60 newton meters of torque into the equation. So you're getting a lot more bang for indeed your buck. Overall, the car's got 82 horsepower and 112 newton meters of torque, and that gives it a 0 to 60 of 12.5 seconds, which is 5% quicker than the old model. They've done a lot to make the car just a little bit better in every way than the previous generation. Now, that lightweight and hybridity does go a long way to giving you some pretty impressive miles per gallon. Combined, they reckon this thing will get 64.2 mpg with the standard 5-speed manual gearbox and 58 with the optional CVT, which is incredible. The manual also gets 99 grams of CO2 if you're counting that for your tax reasons. But what is impressive, when this car turned up having done a long motorway drive, it was showing over 70 mpg on the readout, which is just phenomenal. This is the new 3-cylinder Z12E engine, which replaces the K12D engine, of course. Now you may be wondering why it's got a 5-speed gearbox instead of a 6-speed, but the 5-speed has been tuned specifically for this actual engine. In terms of trim, there's only 2 levels now. There's the Motion and the Ultra. This will be an Ultra, but both levels are really, really highly spec'd. As standard on the Motion, you get a rear spoiler on the tailgate, you get 16-inch alloy wheels, a 9-inch touchscreen display with sat-nav, AM, FM, DAB, CarPlay and Android. You've got heated front seats, you've got a reversing camera, you've got adaptive cruise, and you've got street sign speed recognition, which is good or a bad thing depending how you look at it. Go to the Ultra, you get a few more toys, including power fold mirrors, which is fun, and a rather tasty aerodynamic alloy wheel upgrade. The model as a whole has got improved NVH. It's the first time Suzuki have used like a chassis adhesive to damp sounds and annoyances, and they've also used structural adhesive in part of the construction in order to give it a more rigid shell, so you've got better NVH and better road holding and handling. So all good stuff really. They've also done lots of clever things to improve the aero, like those wheels, and for the first time they've put an aero baffle across the torsion beam and other aero things across the floor of the car. Again, just to improve the aerodynamics of the car. to drive, this thing is actually a boatload of fun. Swifts have been, for a long time, just really enjoyable cars, and I've often argued, certainly since the original Swift Sport in, what was it, 2010, that it was definitely a solid rival to the Mini Cooper. They are just so good. And there isn't a Swift Sport in this range at the moment, possibly ever. I'm not sure they're going to introduce one this time, but they are still really good. They've got McPherson strut-up suspension at the front, we've got a beam axle at the back with, again, coils and shocks. But we have got the lightest controls you ever did experience in this car. It's almost a culture shock climbing in and just feeling how light the pedals are and how light the steering is. But the car really does just grip the road like crazy, and although it's only 80 horsepower, it's so light and so flingable, you really just want to enjoy the thing all the time. It's a grin machine. It's not massively quick. As I was saying in the driving the Punto around Lincolnshire video the other day, driving a less powerful car on interesting roads is so much more fun than driving a too powerful car around even the best roads, because you can actually enjoy the car and use the power. And this has got so much grip to go with it. It's grip for days, as the Americans like to say. And they really have evolved the styling quite heavily on this car. It's been very jelly mold, very smooth. It's become a little more angular with upgrades over the last couple of facelifts and generations of the Swift. But this one has taken this all to a whole new level. There's lots more angularity, lots more aggressiveness around the front bumper of the car and around the lights. That interesting new bonnet shape, that kind of clamshell that sits back from the bumper. And we've got this lovely groove, this suasion that runs, appears and disappears down the length of the car. It makes it look very interesting indeed. Plus, of course, we've got the LED headlights across the entire range. Lots of good stuff for everybody. And people complain that cars look boring these days and there aren't enough colours. Everything's grey and black. I'm just watching the car coming towards me. Yeah, there's only one red Ford there just to break the monotony. This has got 8 metallic colour options and 4 two-tone options with the grey top like this car has. And this is a fantastic shade of metallic lime green, and I absolutely love it. They've also got a signature special colour for this, which is that deep metallic blue, which is a triple coat colour, which they've made a big deal of saying how special it is, and it does look really nice. It glows. So taking a look around the Swift, we've got the rubber push button thingy-majig for lock and unlock, as well as regular key fob entry. And don't forget, we've got this fantastic kind of swage line thing going on around the circumference of the car. So it dips in and out, it grows, it shrinks, it comes all the way out here. It's lots and lots of stuff going on, and this kind of carries on around into the back of the car. Interesting tail lights as well, to match the interesting front lights. So we've got like a blade through the centre and these various different patterns. Very interesting styling and design. Lots and lots going on. Climbing back into the car, we've got some pretty cool door cards. We've got, first of all, hard plastic at the top, but then we've got soft touch fabrics around the armrest and a big solid door pull just here as well. 4 electric windows, 1 touch drop on the driver's one, and power fold on the mirrors here. And it's like a two-tone interior, so we've got the black plastic and the black fabrics and so forth, but we've also got this nicely textured, this kind of diamond texture, which starts off small and expands across the dashboard in the white plastic area. It looks quite cool. Big door pockets, cup holder, bottle holder down there, speakers with some interesting grills. Climbing aboard the car. Yes, I know I'm shooting this in my own driveway. It's school holidays, I'm multitasking. We've got exemplary T-shelf area, huge T-shelf area. So major snacking points in the Swift. This counts very highly in its favour. Let's pop the screen on. So a nice Suzuki animation just there. So we've now got the big screen on, which does all kinds of fun stuff. We've got everything accessed through here. Interestingly, we have got our volume controls just here on the bottom, and a home button and telephony as well, and all of our other car menus are all in the screen. But we've also got a physical button here for the volume just there on the steering wheel. Looking back at the dashboard architecture itself, we've got more of the two-tone area in the centre, jutting forward. So it's quite a sculptural effort on the dashboard front, with this satin finished metal strip insert in the centre just to liven things up, and then the lighter colour on the bottom half of the dashboard. It makes the whole thing feel very light, very airy, and gives it more of a spacious feel, which is absolutely a good thing. Got a big size glove box down here, which is ideal for all the books that come with the car. You don't need to carry them with you. There's a couple of vents here in the centre, which have got a lovely solid feel to them as well. Underneath that, gift of all gifts, we have got actual physical controls for the aircon, and these lovely metal touch finish buttons which feel so good, and there's a lovely spring action to them as well. They really have tried hard to make all this feel really tactile and really high quality, which is good on them. In front of the driver, we've got our actual instruments, and incredibly, like the physical buttons on the aircon, we've got actual physical dials. I know LCD screens are the thing to have at the moment, but there's something so nice about a really attractive dial. It looks so nice. Steering wheel's a nice chunky, I am assuming faux leather affair with a satin insert, which is a little bit uncomfortable to feel, but looks very good. So we've got our radio controls on the left, we've got our cruise control on the right, adaptive cruise, telephone stuff down there, and this little switch here for trying desperately to turn lane keep assist off. All I want on any car at all these days is just one big button somewhere on the dashboard with lane keep assist fully off, so I can push it every time I get in the car and never had the damn stuff turned on. On the right hand side, we've got various things for other safety systems to be turned off. And back in the middle, they've been really generous with just general stuff. We've got an old-fashioned cigarette lighter type socket. We've got a pair of USBs. We've got a USB-A and a USB-C with data on it just there. We've got an old school USB-A just power just there. We've got an area for your phone there. We've got two decent cup holders down there. It's a lovely 5-speed manual box here with like a faux leather surround on it just there. Proper handbrake, fabulous. Heated front seats. Not steps, just on or off, but that's fine. The fact we've got them is brilliant. And another cup holder in the centre at the back there, so lots of storage. And like on previous Suzukis, we've got this intersecting triangle fabric pattern. It's a very soft but hard-wearing kind of a feeling fabric. And the seats themselves have got kind of buckety styling going on, quite firm bolsters. Quite hard-wearing feeling fabric. I don't think this is going to wear out anytime soon, and they are very comfortable indeed. And you've got this nice padded area on the armrest, so you pop your arm on the door, it feels good as well. The back doors aren't quite as exciting as the front doors, it's all just plain black, but we have got a speaker and a bottle holder / cup holder and electric window, of course. Climbing in is very easy because it's such a big square door aperture, which is good. The seats again are nice and comfortable, and there are three 3-point harnesses and lots and lots of legroom and knee room. Because it's a very tall upright car, it's almost SUV-like in its seating arrangements, which is pretty good. We also have a fairly sizable parcel shelf, so perhaps even dogs can be transported in there if you take the parcel shelf out. Now on the back of the car we've got the hybrid badge, and we've got for the reversing camera, so you need to keep that clean when you wash it. Open it up, we've got ourselves a decent sized opening aperture, but like on the Mark II Swift, quite a high lip dropping down into here. We have though got a space big enough to contain an actual spare wheel, so if you wanted to, you could go and find yourself a space saver and not have to live with the fact that if you get a punchy, you're stranded, which is apparently what manufacturers think we should do these days. It's a good sized boot, lots of space in there. I'd use this for work in the week, and for my light stands and my camera lights and my cameras and a drone, with lots of room to spare in here. We also have a hook and a light in here, so you can find stuff in the dark and you can hang your curry from there. The seats do split fold 60/40 and fold forward, so you've got a lot of space in there if you need it. So the car is super practical, which is nice. So this is a brilliant little car following in the spirit of the Suzuki Swift Sport. We do have fantastic handling, lightweight, really good feedback through the steering. It's generally really good. The elephant in the room though is of course the stuff that is out of Suzuki's control, and they have to put in because it's the law these days. So we have got the good stuff, blind spot monitoring. We've got little alerts in the side mirrors to show stuff's alongside us that we can't see in the blind spot. We've got alerts if you're reversing into a parking space. That kind of stuff is very good. We've got lane keep assist because you have to these days, even though it is absolutely useless. This isn't the most intrusive of systems, but it does vibrate the steering wheel and start pulling you back into your lane. And honestly, this kind of interference is actually a little bit dangerous, and it's not just Suzuki, it's all manufacturers, because NCAP insist on it, but it's bad, it's not good. The other thing which all cars have to have now since late July this year, you have to have speed monitoring. So if you drift even 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, you will get your speed flashing on the dashboard and it'll start binking at you. Other companies are doing more aggressive and intervention-y type stuff, which is even worse, but this is the law. Any car sold in the UK and the EU now has to have this, and I hate it beyond measure. I don't want to be monitored, and I don't want to be doing 51 miles an hour and having the car binking at me. The only good side of this is that because Suzuki tend to be a little bit hands-off and a bit more old school, all it does in this case to meet the requirement is beep. Let's get to 41 miles an hour and show you. It flashes the speed for a moment. 1, 2, 3 times, there we go. It keeps on flashing, but it doesn't do anything more after that, which is, thank goodness, the annoyance is over. The trouble is though, if you dip back down to 39 and back up to 41 again, it will beep at you again because you've gone back above the speed limit. I'm not advocating being, a free man who flouts the law terribly, but honestly, it is safer to watch the road and be doing about the right speed than being staring at your speedo the entire time in case you drift over by 1 mile an hour. Anyway, this isn't the car's fault. This is actually quite good that this is very, very minor in terms of application of this new rule, which is really, really annoying. These are the new things that all new cars have to have, and I complain about them every time I drive a new car. Basically, the rules making cars worse, but Suzuki have done a very good job of actually making it not too bad. It could have been an awful lot worse. So this is the last of the ICE-powered Suzuki Swifts, potentially the last of the Swifts if they go with a different name for the new EV replacement when that eventually rolls out. Now, although there's no Swift Sport coming that we know of, there is an all-grip, an all-wheel drive 4x4 version on the way. That's only going to be available on manual versions of the Ultra as an option pack, but it's going to be using a viscous coupling like in a Freelander, but not fragile, giving you basically the capability of an off-roader. If you don't want a big SUV, but you need that kind of slight off-road capability, like a Panda 4x4, if you live somewhere mountainous, hilly, rainy, snowy, weathery, muddy, then you've got that option to have a regular sized car which does fantastic MPG instead of a ridiculous that makes you look like a look at me kind of person. You just want a regular car that drives nicely. Get yourself a Swift All Grip. Now, for those that observe such things, there is an app, Suzuki Connect, which has been around since 2022. This means you can connect up to the car with your Apple or Android phone, of course, and do lots of things like stuff, because that's clever things that inevitably breaks when I try and do it. So, yeah, I'm sure it's very good. So, as I said at the beginning, I've been a big fan of the Swift range for quite a long time, and this car, although it's very different from the previous ones in its styling, it's still no disappointment in its execution because it's still fantastic to drive, it's still super practical, it's still incredibly efficient in fuel terms. In fact, there's lots and lots to like about this car. They've even managed to dial down the mandated irritations that legislation are insisting on these days as well. If you've enjoyed this ride out in the Swift, then please like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the car. Personally, I think it's a fantastic little thing, and I'm quite sad that it's potentially the last one. Join me again next time driving something completely different. Well, that's not completely true. For the last 3 episodes have been Swifts, but we will drive something different next time. I promise. We're running out of Swifts.